He's not the problem. They need to do a better job of building a team around him. You could bring up, oh, well, he had this many All-Pros. That's great. They're a top-heavy roster. You don't win with the top of your roster in the NFL. We just saw the Eagles win a Super Bowl where the best players on their team for that Super Bowl game were Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. They wrecked the game that game. I want to start in Dallas with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are failing Dak Prescott. Let's be 100% honest here. The Cowboys, from a defensive personnel perspective, had no plan going into this season. Even when they had Micah Parsons on this football team, they had no plan going into the season. And to me, when I look at this football team and I see the problems with this football team, it's blatantly obvious. If you want to sit here and say they lost this game yesterday because Dak Prescott didn't play well enough, I'm sorry, you need to get your eyes checked. I can't take your football opinion seriously. Dak Prescott was very good yesterday. You can look at the 2 interceptions and I can say, look at the game, because you didn't watch the game if you saw those 2 interceptions. The one to Pickens, he hit him right in the hands. What is he supposed to do? Catch the ball as well? The one on the 4th down, what is he supposed to do? Take a sack there? Nothing was open on the back end. He threw the ball up because there was nothing open. The pass rush was getting to him. But when I look at what this organization has done to Dak Prescott, when it comes to this defense being as inept as it is, it was going to be inept with Micah Parsons. It was going to be inept without Micah Parsons. Instead of being the 25th best defense in the league, it is the 32nd best defense in the league. It wasn't going to make a big difference. But again, this organization continues to put Dak Prescott in a bad situation. Offensively, they weren't able to play within structure at all this season, pretty much. Pretty much this entire season, it's been, hey, Dak, throw the ball because our defense is really bad. How can you even grade Schottenheimer as a play caller? I think he's done pretty well, me personally, because I think that their run game is actually very good when they're actually able to run the football, when their defense is not giving up wide open touchdowns, play after play after play. This is the second week in a row where a quarterback who has been struggling has made them look bad. Russell Wilson is not a good quarterback. Schooled him last week. Caleb Williams is not a good quarterback. Schooled him this week. That is the problem with the Cowboys. It's not Brian Schottenheimer as a play caller or even a head coach, because I think he's actually done some good things. It's not Dak Prescott. I don't even think it's the offense. You want to see them execute a little better, but execution isn't always going to be at its peak throughout a course of a 17-game season. They lose CeeDee Lamb. What happens after they lose CeeDee Lamb? They're still able to move the ball offensively. Even though CeeDee Lamb, they're rolling coverage over to CeeDee Lamb. Or I'm sorry, George Pickens. And George Pickens is the number 1 receiver on this team now that CeeDee Lamb isn't playing for them. They were still able to move the ball. Dak was still making all the throws that you needed him to make. Show me the throw that Dak Prescott missed yesterday. Show me the reads that Dak Prescott missed yesterday. If you have them, I'm more than willing to look at that and say, damn, Dak, you got to be a little better there, man. He made all the throws that he needed to make. He put his team in a position to win. Offensively, they need to execute better. Defensively, they need to do everything better. And Matt Eberflus has to be better. Their personnel has to be better. Everything about their defense needs to be better. Because when I look at this team right now, like if you're a Cowboys fan, I would come out of this game saying, wow, our offense has the potential to be great. Like a really great offense. Our defense has the potential to be one of the worst of all time. That's how bad this defense is. Like, I'm not overstating it. It's awful. This Cowboys defense is flat out awful. It has the potential to be one of the worst of all time. If you're telling me Caleb Williams, who has not looked good all season, and Russell Wilson, who has not looked good all season, can look like the best quarterback in the game when playing this defense, yeah, I think it's fair to say that this is one of the worst defenses we've seen in recent memory. They have no pass rush. Their secondary is god-awful. Their linebackers can't move. They're a liability in coverage. They have a defensive coordinator who I'm willing to give Matt Eberflus the benefit of the doubt because Matt Eberflus has been a good defensive coordinator in the past. The problem is there is no consistency from a personnel perspective when it comes to the Cowboys personnel department, when it comes to what they have on defense, because they've been replacing defensive coordinators year after year after year. They need to find consistency on that side of the ball. Because right now they're working with personnel that Dan Quinn had, that Mike Zimmer had, and there's just absolutely no consistency. So when I look at the Cowboys going forward, just as a team for this season, I mean, I know it looks bad. It's not over yet. There's still 3 games in, so they still have 14 more games to get it together. And I think if CeeDee Lamb comes back healthy, they're going to be able to move the ball offensively really, really, really well. So, they'll be able to cover for the defense a little bit. But at the same time, when I look at their defense, man, this is one of the worst defenses I've seen. They're bad. They're awful. Like, yeah, they can stop the run. Like, they're better at that. But when Chicago needed to run the football, they ran the football. It's just so many bad things going on defensively for the Cowboys that you look at what the Cowboys are doing offensively, they can't make mistakes. And while, yes, I am highlighting the lack of execution offensively outside of Dak Prescott, you have to say to yourself, when your defense is that bad and you have to be perfect offensively, the lack of execution is going to be highlighted more because of how bad the defense is. So Dak Prescott, he's not the problem with that team. He's never been the problem with that team. He's always been the guy that has been leading that team, leading that organization for years now. He's not the problem. They need to do a better job of building a team around him. You could bring up, he had this many all-pros. That's great. They're a top-heavy roster. You don't win with the top of your roster in the NFL. We just saw the Eagles win a Super Bowl where the best players on their team for that Super Bowl game were Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. They wrecked the game that game. It wasn't Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts played fine in that game, but it wasn't the top of the roster guys. It was the guys from 10 to 20 that made it happen for the Eagles in that Super Bowl. That's how you build a team. You need to be a good team outside of just your top 7 or 8 guys. And I don't think Dallas has done a good enough job of doing that. We'll see what happens with them going forward. They still have time to turn this around, but you have a lot of questions about this team at the current moment.